Hi, everyone. Welcome to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, the place where authors, especially Christian authors, have an opportunity to share their testimony through their written works to inspire you to open up your mouth and share yours. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and tonight I've got another, another awesome author with me, Miss Terryn Horton-Morton. When I first heard that, I was like, come on.
That's a fake name. That's a fake name. No, that's my name. Yes, I'm a Horton that became a Morton, if you could believe it.
That's what's up. Welcome to Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. Thank you for coming into the space to share yourself as well as your work with me, as well as the Speak Up Sis Talk Radio audience. How you doing tonight?
I am doing absolutely wonderful and a bit nervous, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. The nerves never steady for me. I totally understand it. So you are also an author on Speak Up Sis Bookshelf. So I would like to thank you for trusting the vision of the bookshelf and listing your title on the bookshelf. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Wonderful platform. I just starting out this whole journey. Once I saw everything you were doing, I absolutely had to join in and support. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's get it, sis. Tell us a little bit about who is Terryn.
Well, Terryn is a new author. But yes, I am a wife of 10 years, going on 11, a mother of 3 boys, 12, 10, well, going on 10 and 7. I actually graduated from Norfolk State University many moons ago. It seems like 2004. I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, and then we moved down to Virginia. So I got a little bit of Northern, a little bit of Southern going on. Always been into writing. I've been writing pretty much since I was in second grade. And I always tell the story of when I was in second grade, we were told to do an essay on Martin Luther King. And I always was big on my, fairy tales. My mom would read to me every single night. So I had a wonderfully active imagination. So with this essay, I thought it would be pretty neat in second grade to jazz it up a bit. I didn't want to just talk about Martin Luther King. Why just talk about him when I can actually create a whole background story of this wonderful man who did all this wonderful stuff and in this wonderful land called America, So I really went in my little self on this essay, and lo and behold, I won this little essay contest in the classroom. My little second grade self was very, very happy. So I knew from that point on, I can use my imagination and put it down on paper and just create a space where I can just let whatever came to mind just flow and people would enjoy it and be entertained by it. So I spent most of my life writing. I was highly supported in high school and everything else to be a journalism major, which I was at Norfolk State. At Norfolk State, I did join the Spartan Echo for a while. I wrote for them for a little bit and just kind of just always had that vision, and I've always had that drive to write something. I'm quick to write something, whether it's somebody's birthday, whether it's something. I am going to write you a card. I'm going to write you a note. I am going to write you something special for any occasion that might come up. So I'm the writer of the family. Are
you still sending letters? I still write letters. I love email letters.
Yes, I write. I like writing. I will send out cards to people, and in the card, I will, they'll have like the little blurb or whatever, but on the side that's blank, I fill it up with everything of how much I care about that person, what they've done for me, how they've helped me from the time I was born. I will go in. I just have to do it. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, there is something about receiving. First thing, I love mail. I don't know what it is about mail, but I still run to the mailbox. I love mail, and I love getting a handwritten letter. There's something just and special. It's like somebody thought enough about me to take the time to actually write out their thoughts to me. It doesn't
Yeah.
often
No, it doesn't.
anymore, but I love it when it does happen.
Yes, yes, I appreciate it when I do see a letter in the mail with the envelope that's a different color than white. You know, that
Mhm.
means that it's something fun and not something bill related. But yes, I do appreciate anytime I get anything that somebody's written. That's how me and my husband got together. He got me by writing me poetry when we first got together. I love
Yeah.
it. He'll say I convinced him to do that, but I still have all his letters. I still have them.
Oh, we're gonna get into this fabulous book.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But let me say, I used to have a shoebox
Mm.
of all of the check no, check yes. I kept them from because we moved around a lot.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So everywhere it was how I kept up with all of the friends I would make in new places I had to leave.
Yeah.
And all the notes. Every time we moved, I would write my old friends until we just sort of moved somewhere else and it just got lost. And I kept up into college age. And my mom one day threw my box and she was like, "You need to get rid of all this. You need to let them."
No.
I was like, I can't.
Oh no.
Let all this stuff go. Let these people go. All this past stuff. You need to look to the future.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I couldn't believe she did that, but it was healthy though. It was healthy for me because there's from old boyfriend and like you said, so I could see how I probably needed to get rid of some of stuff.
Purging, right? Purging.
Something else. It was something else. So we have guests in the room. So I want to acknowledge Mixana Dorch James. She says, "Good evening, Terryn," and she's so proud of you.
Oh.
So thank you for joining us tonight. And anyone else who joins in, feel free to leave comments, questions. If you have questions for Terryn tonight, feel free to put them in the chat and I will make sure that they're read and she can answer. Okay, so let's get into you as an author and this book of yours. I was excited about this book because it is different.
Yes.
It is about fantasy.
Yes.
In which I was like, did she make a mistake and click nonfiction? Because fantasy and fiction.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Got a mix of fantasy of nonfiction, and for those who get them mixed up, nonfiction means it's true. And then Christian principles. So
yes.
You got fantasy, you got nonfiction, and you got Christian principles all merged together in a book. How exciting is that? So
yes,
how did that come about?
Well, actually, I had these stories. I started back. I've always been a blogger. So what came to me back in early 2019, because I had been told by the Holy Spirit at different points in time that I need to write a book. But it was one of those things you're like, I'm not going to write a book. I don't know how to do dialogue. Look, I see a book. I read a book. That's not me. I don't write books. So what ended up happening was that he was like, listen, instead of you writing a whole book at one time, since you already blog different things every week,
right?
Just do a chapter a week. You blog every week, just do a chapter. So 2019, I had went to the women. We do a women's ministry meeting. Mixona, no, every second Saturday of the month. So at this particular one in January of 2019, yes, I they said, what do you see yourself doing for the year? I put down writing a book. Why did I say that? It just came to me to say. So it was almost like God was like, you say it now, you're committed.
Yes.
So you need to do it. So I was like, oh, all right. Okay. So I'm going to do it. So I actually every single week, and I had gotten back into my Bible too, and I started from the beginning, Genesis. And so in reading Genesis and speaking about Adam and Eve, a lot of questions were coming up because we hear about the story of them all the time, but there was more background as far as how it related to myself and some of the things that I've possibly gone through as far as some of the decisions I made, how the serpent played a part, how I, what the apple represented, all that. So that I started writing on those things and correlating them with my own real experiences. So the chapters pretty much naturally, organically came on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of 2019, I literally had a book finished.
Wow.
So, but I did not have the first part, the introduction and everything else for it, or the preface, excuse me.
Right.
And I said, all right, I have all these chapters, but how am I, I could talk about different things, which I usually do with my blogs, but how will I bring it all together so that there's a story? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he, again, in the middle of the night, God is something about 3 a.m., 2 a.m. You're sleeping really well. And then it's like, boop, that's a great idea for this book. So he gave me the idea in my fairy tales because, again, I was just talking to somebody at the time about how fairy tales always play a part and, what we're doing, even though they're quote unquote not real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that. But when the fairy tales that my mom read to me every night, from the Three Bears, Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, there was always a message. There was always some sort of message in all these fairy tales. Yes. And she would always discuss them with me. This is the message in there. Yes, you have all these unreal places, unreal characters, but there's something about what they went through and why they had to go through it. Mm-hmm. So Cinderella was always one of my biggest to this day. And the one I like is the Whitney Houston and Brandy one. Just putting it out there, guys. Sorry. That's my favorite. So I remembered that whole movie, and she was talking about all the impossible things. Mm-hmm. So yes. So I said, oh, the impossible is made possible. Right. But instead of me having a godmother, I have God. And God came into my life and changed it all around and made what I thought was impossible possible. So all of these things that I was thinking of myself as being as, I actually wasn't. I was more, but I could only see it once I saw God. So all of that came together to make this whole fairy tale, fantasy, reality. Let me get you some biblical message as well book.
Girl, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the concept. I love the idea of it. And I'm gonna just tell you, and all might get mad with me. But I love the traditional fairy tales. Like, I just do.
Me
people
too.
always said fairy tales aren't real. That stuff isn't true. You live in a fairy tale land. But let me tell you, I believe, just like you said, I believe that the impossible can be possible. All things are possible.
Amen.
That's right.
Yes.
For me, I call, I don't know what you want to call me. Call me a believer. But I believe in, I like the fairy tales. And I think that even as a believer, there's a fairy tale ending. We get like a mansion on.
Amen. Right. Exactly.
Pearls, and we get to like sing and worship and eternity.
Hello.
That sounds
no pain, no suffering. Streets of gold. Sounds like a fairy tale. See? Exactly. Unrealistic, unbelievable. Could never see it happen. All of that. Yeah. That's God. Hello.
So I'm totally loving the idea, the concept, and all of those good things. Excuse me. So as for me, I write therapeutically. Does your writing, is this kind of therapy for you as well? Or no, you write strictly because you have the stories that you want to share?
Well, actually, I will say it is therapeutic because, in a way, I've always thought about certain things of why certain things happen and why I did certain things. But in writing things down, I find that a lot of my decisions or a lot of the things that I thought I knew,
Mm-hmm.
I see them in a whole different light
Mm-hmm.
as I'm writing them down and seeing them in front of me. Then, of course, when you can make up stuff as you're thinking about it, but when you actually have it in front of you, you're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that did happen because of that, and
Yeah.
this decision was made that caused this. Oh wow, so it does. So I do write therapeutically, and especially in the when my kids were really small, it was nice to have a place where I could kind of just put all my thoughts and feelings, especially with being, with having little ones and your, postpartum, all that good. You're like, I could just put it
Right.
all down on paper and get it all out, and then it's like, I feel better. And you could go on with your day. That's exactly. Yeah, therapy is a big deal with my writing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, writing is like free therapy.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with you. It takes what's on the inside
Mm-hmm.
out of you, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
real. There, I believe a lot of people don't want to write,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
people close their mouths and don't want to talk, because once you formulate the words and you speak them or
Mm-hmm.
you write them, it makes it real. It makes what's in here and in here real. And once it's real, you got to deal with it.
Exactly.
You have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And people just don't want to deal, right?
Right.
But
Right.
writing is an amazing form of therapy.
Yeah.
And so I just want to recommend to anyone listening and or
Yes.
watching, get yourself a beautiful journal. I
Yes.
got journals everywhere.
Yes.
Get yourself a notebook or journal. Even like Terryn says, she blogs and she
Mm-hmm.
has a website. We're going to make sure y'all get that. Even if you don't want to do pen and paper,
Mm-hmm.
start a blog.
Yeah.
And allow it to, allow you to be able to release. So I think that's wonderful. I'd also like to, for us to talk a little bit about the fact that you are a Christian
Mm-hmm.
who writes fantasy. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked a little bit about this before
Yeah.
coming on tonight. A lot of times when we think of Christian writing, we think it's got to be a devotional. It's got to
Mm-hmm.
be kind of Bible study.
Right. Right.
A lot of Christians are writing memoir
Right.
type books, which is cool.
Right. Which is cool.
And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that.
No.
However, it is so okay to
Mm-hmm.
write romance.
Yes.
As a Christian, Christians
Have romance. Yes, they do.
Where we get all these babies from?
Yes.
I got 4 young and 2 sons, honey. Let me tell you, Christians you can, as a believer, it is okay to write romance novels.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay to write fantasy, adventure, science fiction. All of those genres can be written, by the hands of Christian writers. Did you get any pushback when you decided to write fantasy as a Christian?
Actually, not too. No.
Okay.
Well, okay. Let me say, all right. Everybody knows me to be very fantasy based. Okay. I am quick to quote a fairy tale or any type of fantasy type of genre. Everybody knows me as that. So when I was describing the book premise to people, they were like, okay, we could see that. We could see you saying that. We could see you going there in that way, because they knew exactly where I was headed. Now, the people who didn't know me too much, and I was explaining it to them, they were just like, So, okay. So Cinderella Christian. I'm like, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm not saying Cinderella Christian. I, I was like, just read the book. just I can't. Yes. It's hard. Just read the book. You'll get what I'm saying. Then they read it. They're like, oh, that's okay. That makes sense. It makes sense. Yes.
I'm telling you, this platform is specifically designed and created for Christians. I am very clear about that. I know a lot of people that makes people feel uncomfortable. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
But Speak Up Sis Bookshelf is your source for Christian books. That is the tagline, because I want people to know that, one, Christian read. You read other things other than the Bible.
Exactly. Right? Yes. I mean, there's a wide scope of things we read.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if I can just be a little transparent here, can we be transparent?
Yes, we may.
There are so many Christians reading books that cause them to compromise their faith.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I remember reading erotica, and I shared with you. I remember reading hardcore urban fiction with the words that the Bible is telling me you probably don't want to go.
Right. You don't want to go there.
I was reading them, the literature. Why? Because I love to read. I love reading. And it is what was out there.
Right.
You know? So
exactly.
I like reading fiction. I like reading stories. I like things. And this is what's available.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to read. And so I bless God that he gave me the vision to create a space that is for believers, for be able to grab books off the shelf that they know won't cause them to compromise. So you can get a fantasy book and it not be, you know, some lady twirling around doing whatever.
Dropping it.
Your head, you know what I'm saying? And as well as authors, there are Christians who are authors.
Oh yeah.
Who want to write things other than devotional books.
Right.
And that is
okay.
And they need a space where they don't have to compromise putting their book next to some of the other stuff that's out, you know. So I am excited that you have written this. You created your own genre,
right?
Fantasy, nonfiction, Christianity, together. Here, read it. I love it.
Yes. I wanted just something a little different that couldn't really be tagged as one thing. You know, the biggest thing that when I was first writing, when I was first getting published, was who's your audience? And I said, I never thought about that, because they said you can't say everybody. You can't say everybody's your audience, and I'm like, because that's what I was saying. I was like, everybody's my audience. It's a Christian book. Anybody can read it. Kids can read it. Old people can read it. Whatever. But they were like, no, you have to have a specific person that you're looking at to read. And I said, oh my gosh. All right. And so I read over my book again. And for the life of me, I was like, I could just see different faces of different family members, different friends, young and old people, male, female, all types of people kind of really getting something out of it. And I was like, okay, all right. So I had yet, and to this day, honestly, I have yet to really pinpoint and say, it's for this person. You know, yes, I always say, to make it plain, it's for the woman who, you know, who always wanted to do something more than where she was at the time. And there's always something deep down inside of us that we have some sort of dream or vision for ourselves that we just put to the side because we're women, because we're working, because we're moms, because we're wives. But there's something in each and every one of us, and I say men too, that we want to attain. We want to do something. We want to do something incredible. And actually, each and every story and each and everything that I write about in the book is just one level of how I got to attain that, how I got to see the vision within myself that God was trying to show me in all these different places. So that's why I say it's kind of hard to say it's just one thing. It is fantasy, it is nonfiction, it is Christian, it's all these different things, but it's for everyone. And I'm glad about that because I really wanted something that everybody could read. Right. And I didn't have to go, ooh, okay, not you, even my kids. I want them, they could pick up this book and just read it. And I don't have to worry about them going, oh, there's bad words. Oh, she's talking about adult stuff. It's none of that. So it's for everyone. Sorry.
Sidebar. No, because you know what? It just dawned on me, just because you're a storyteller and I'm a storyteller, and we're in this space just sharing. You know what you haven't done and what I haven't done?
What?
You haven't even told the people the name of the book.
Oh. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Rewind.
It would probably help if you guys knew what we were talking about.
Will you please share with the people the name of your book?
Sorry. Their Innocence, My Hustle, Our Growth, a Modern Faitherella Story. Yes, I said Faitherella, guys. Spin on that Cinderella, like I said. This is what it looks like. See? Boop, 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 boop.
That's what's up. You all, please just let me say this. I'm filming on location tonight in a hotel room, so I don't have my book. I don't have anything with me. So please forgive me, everybody, for not being able to show it to you as well. I appreciate you. And if my orange face is bothering you like it's bothering me, hotel light, I can't help that. I really can't. Terryn has been helping me to be okay with what I look like right now. So
you look gorgeous. You look gorgeous. Okay.
Listen, I am so excited to have you on the bookshelf. I'm glad that you didn't pigeonhole your book. Oftentimes, that's what they want us to do, right? You gotta find your target and you gotta market them and whatever.
Right.
Sometimes God just wants you to write the book.
Right. Just write it. Exactly.
The people who need to read your work, they will read your work. So there are boys and girls who watch Cinderella and Snow White and all of them, and there will be women and men who will read this. What did you say? Faitherella?
That's right. Read this Faitherella story.
And they will be able to glean from what it is God is giving you to share with the world. So I am encouraging everyone tonight, if you are listening, if you're watching, make sure that you go to speakupsis.com/bookshelf and grab a copy of this book.
Please do.
Get the book.
Get the book.
Get the book. I'm not even scared to say it, Terryn. I'm gonna say it for you. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Get the book.
I appreciate that. Yes, please, guys, please
get the book.
Please get the book.
If you will, please let the people know how they can connect with. I can hear myself. Do you have on another device?
No, you're fine. Nope, it's just same thing.
Okay, so let the people know how they can reach you. You have a website that they can go.
Yes, you can check me out, guys, at www.oursparkblog.com. That has all my book information, event information, my blogs, It has so much information up there. Check me out there. You can check me out on Instagram. I'm at my godly spark. So yeah, as you can see, I try to keep the spark going with everything.
Uh,
So
right.
yeah, definitely check me out, guys.
Please do check her out. All right.
Yes.
So listen, everybody, this has been another amazing episode of Speak Up Sis Talk Radio. I thank you so much for joining us tonight. For those of you who have never even heard of Speak Up Sis, I don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
But you can check us out at speakupsis.com. It's an entire ministry. We've got the bookshelf where you can shop for Christian books. The talk radio show, you can go watch all of our previous episodes and meet some new authors as well. There's also Speak Up Sis podcast. You all can check that out. So please visit speakupsis.com, subscribe so that you can get updates, and make sure you click on the bookshelf and go grab a copy of author Terryn Horton-Morton's new book. It's all about a Fairytale story. So grab that. Do you have any last words? You got a jewel, a gem, a nugget that you want to drop for the people?
Well, all I want to say is that God is so good, guys. And don't ever give up on yourselves. Don't ever give up on him. Even when a lot of times we, especially during this time, this COVID time, so many people are upset, sad, losing things. There's something in all of this. And a lot of times when we lose a lot, he's sitting right there just waiting for you to come to him to gain all you've lost. So just be quiet, sit quietly, sit with him, and realize there's some purpose in that pain. There's a process in all the struggle, and you will get through this, but you just have to sit and just stay with him. I swear he will never let you down, guys, ever.
Ever. This has been so wonderful. I love your spirit. You just got a sweet spirit, just a warm, kind presence. And I appreciate you for joining the Speak Up Sis Bookshelf community. And I look forward to I'm going to let you get some time to get this one, get comfortable, but I will be looking forward to the next book because I know you got another one in you.
I do. And, I had already started writing it before all this happened. And it's funny because you're not the only one who's mentioned, okay, I'm waiting for the second one. I'm like, okay, it's coming. You wait.
That's what's up. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for Speak Up Sis Talk Radio, the place where authors, especially Christian authors, have an opportunity to share their testimony through their written work in order to inspire you to open up your mouth and share yours. Again, I'm your host, Angel Charmaine. You all have a wonderful night. Meet us back here next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another amazing author. Take care.
Have a good night, guys.